fofo. This for the fofo. For the city and them back roads. Got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the fofo and that gold. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah. So let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva. Them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Primetime Valley. We from the fofo chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating those dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really bout it. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them. Yeah, and Connie got flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the fofo. This for the fofo. This for the fofo.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. It is Wednesday night, and you know what that means. It's time for the 440 Sports Show, Ashtabula County's #1 high school sports show. And right here on YSN, your home for Ashtabula County sports. Before we get going too much, let's make sure we got some sound. We're good there. Yeah, we've got a big show up ahead of us. We've got our Week 9 Player of the Week coming up, which is going to be Edgewood's Jacob Ernst after a monster outing out there with the Edgewood Warriors last week. We're going to be talking about offensive and defensive stat leaders for the football players of Ashtabula County on YSN. And we'll also be getting into some volleyball stuff and talking about some of these matchups this week. We'll obviously talk about the results from last week as well. And before we end the show, we will definitely be jumping in to the playoffs as this Week 10 is going to kind of sculpt the landscape for Week 11. And to my knowledge, I believe only 2 teams in the county right now are completely out of the playoffs, and I think the other teams have pretty much locked their spot in with some of the teams playing for home field advantage and that sort of thing. It's going to be a very, very eventful Week 10. I'm looking forward to it. And one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game. I know as a 2005 Lakeside graduate, this one is the big one for me as the battle for the bridge is going to be happening on Friday. And a little bit of, a gift, a surprise coming out there is tomorrow we will be doing an extra broadcast this week. Now, that broadcast is going to be last year's game. We are going to rerun last year's game. And if you didn't watch it last year, you're going to want to watch it this year because the ending, depending on what side you're on, was either heartbreaking or exhilarating. It was a phenomenal game. We're going to watch it. We're going to have live commentary, the whole nine. It's going to be a really, really fun one to do tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. But what I'm looking forward more than that too is this young man coming on the show. And you guys know it's Edgewood, so nobody's coming on here alone. So let's talk about our Week 9 Player of the Week, Jacob Ernst, and he is joined by the boys of the wood. That's Jacob Ernst there in the middle. We got Tony Hall, Nick Wyman, and the tackling master behind them. That's Seth Enos. It's a whole group of you guys, but tonight we're going to focus on you, Jacob. What is going on? How are you feeling?
Good. How about you?
Pretty good. I'll tell you what, you've had yourself a heck of a year, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to bring this right back on stage real quick. Every photo we've had for these Player of the Week graphics has been really great. There's been some awesome ones. This one might take the cake. That's NFL stuff right there. Going up and doing what you do best, and that's mossing people. So, what was going on Friday night when you guys were going into that game? Because you certainly had yourself a night.
Last year was a really tough loss to them, so we knew we had to get our revenge and get the trophy back at home. So, basically, just first, I want to give a big shout-out to the offensive line for holding up for us, and then Tony for finding me when I was open.
That's a smart man right there. You got to thank the big guys, because if they don't do their job, you don't have time to get the ball, right? Yeah, you talked about last year. It was a tough game for you, and a lot of people on YSN don't know about. But this game is a rivalry. It's one of the older rivalries in the county, with the Hoadley Cup, a traveling trophy that has gone back and forth, and Edgewood taking possession of that thing right back this year in a huge win. It was a really fun game to watch, and we got to see Larry and Sean on the call for that one. It was really just a great game. But Jacob, coming into this year, I think everybody kind of had big expectations for you, because you were a pretty good wide receiver last year as well, one of the top in the county to be exact. What are some of the things going from that junior year to your senior year that you wanted to work on? What are some of the things that you focused on coming into this one?
It was kind of just like getting with Tony and throwing the football, just working on routes and getting our chemistry up.
Yeah, it seems. I'll tell you what, I got to put this one out there. So Steve Cray, athletic director extraordinaire, says photo credit to Edgewood's own Nicole Goodnow. And I believe it, because I've seen some of the photos she's put out there. They have been phenomenal all year, and that one is no lie. So, you said you worked on your timing and that sort of thing, and that's very, very important. You and Tony have been playing together, I think, probably longer than anybody on the team. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys kind of switched roles, because I know the last time the youth league, I guess the youth league footage that I've seen of you two guys was you throwing him the ball. So you guys take a switch, and I don't know how this guy must have burner accounts. Tony Hall says Jacob, best wide receiver, no questions. It's really fun to get you out there and watching. And what are some of the things? Getting ready for this week, you've got a big one coming. Everybody talks about the Battle of the Bridge. If you're from Ashtabula and you don't know about it, you must live under a rock. What are some of the things you guys are doing to try and make sure you get ready for this game? Because this is one of those games, I think, you can throw records out the window, and every time you guys play, it's an absolute slobber knocker. What are some of the things you want to make sure you get done when you're out there?
Basically just we've been watching their film. Obviously, we know they're a really good run team. They got a pretty good offensive line. So, first of all, on defense, just stopping the run, and then on offense, just doing what we do every week, passing the ball, finding grass, and just getting in the end zone.
Yeah, and one of the other things I want to kind of talk about is the fact that you play defense as well. So we focus a lot on your offensive ability, because it's what gets people up and standing. Your ability to go down there, big throws downfield, that sort of thing. But you like to cause some havoc over there on defense as well. Offense versus defense, which one do you like to play more?
Offense. For sure.
Listen, an honest man. What are some of the things you wanted to work on defense? Because with you playing that free safety position, you can't make a mistake. You got nobody to bail you out.
Basically just staying over the top, helping all my other DBs out, just in case something happens, and then obviously being involved in the run game too as a safety is huge. So,
you're a great athlete, a multi-sport athlete. Obviously, you play some other sports as well. We know about your accomplishments on the basketball side of things. Any other sports?
Nope, just football and basketball.
So what are some of the things that kind of cross over for that basketball training to football? What are some of the things you do well in basketball that you think kind of translates, other than jumping, into football?
My God. I'd say that. That's probably it. Outside of jumping,
yeah, just jumping up and getting the ball. Well, that's more than enough. You're pretty much a nightmare when it comes in coverage, and I think it makes it pretty easy for that other guy next to you, not the one who's blocking for you, but the one throwing. As you guys have had a record-breaking season, Tony Hall coming out and breaking the all-time Edgewood record for touchdowns in a season, and we still got a whole game in front of us. He is a stone's throw away from the all-time county record. So it's a really, really great time, and getting to watch you guys. What's going on in that receiver group? Because I've been talking about this receiver group all year. You guys are one of the best, if not the best, wide receiving course I've seen since we started this. You guys have 4 and 5 guys that can all go out and make a play. What's it like practicing with those guys? Do you guys kind of sharpen off of each other? Is it competitive within the ranks?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, I mean, our whole receiving core, we got I'd say at least 6 or 7 that can just come in and make plays all the time. So it's nice knowing that you have other people, and I know it's nice for Tony knowing he can throw to anybody and trust any of our receivers.
Well, yeah, because if they don't pay enough attention to you, I think this is what you guys do. To the fellas out there. So it's fun to see, but that's all I'm going to get. You guys got a big week ahead of you this one. I'm really looking forward to. We've got some extra stuff planned for this Battle of the Bridge. You got a bunch of seniors right in front of us, a lot of the playmakers for this Edgewood team. So thanks for coming on the show. Best of luck to all of you guys, and I'll see you guys here in just about 48 hours.
All right, thank you.
Sure, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Jacob Ernst, this week's Player of the Week. He really had a great game out there. And if you look at the numbers, I think, compared to the other Players of the Week, you might say, well, he only had 6 receptions for 61 yards. Well, 6 receptions for 61 yards, the biggest thing is 3 touchdowns. The man is an unstoppable scoring machine. He goes out there, he makes a difference. He has done that all year for Edgewood, and I think that's the role. And you look at a guy like Tony Hall, who is having a record-breaking season. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts. He's got we're going to put out his touchdown numbers here in just a little bit when we put out the leaders, but he is the all-time leading Ashtabula County. He's got, I think he's 1 touchdown or 2 touchdowns away from breaking that total record. He may have broken it already. But he is really having a record-breaking season, not just at Edgewood, but in the county. It's really fun to get to watch these guys. And you got Terry Shatter. I'm gonna assume that's a burner account, but very cool. But like I said, it's been really fun to watch these guys play football. I think the expectations were in the sky coming into this one. They really do have one of the most talented wide receiving cores really in Northeast Ohio. I would line that receiving core up against anybody, and that's just me being real. I know I'm a bit of a homer, but that's just, you look at the ability of all the receivers that they go, 1 through 5, 1 through 6. Each one of them can catch, each one of them can run, and each one of them has a special skill set that kind of separates them from the pack. So, it's really, really fun. They've got a tough one coming up this week because I want to let you guys know Lakeside is no pushover. Lakeside, whether you look at the record or not, they're 4 and 5. Edgewood's 5 and 4. That's Coach Cooper saying, "Let's go, Frank." Frank, the nickname he has on the team over there at Edgewood. He's talking about Jacob Payne. But we talk about this Edgewood versus Lakeside game. It's going to be a fun one to watch. It's 2 really conflicting styles of football. You've got Lakeside who comes out and they like to pound the ball. They almost want to play you inside of a phone booth. Not that extreme, but they're gonna rely heavily on guys like Nate Bartone, the bruiser, on Devin Miller, who's as fast as anybody out here. They've got one of the best offensive lines I've ever seen out there, and Coach Buzz Edwards keeps those guys ready. And then you look over on the Edgewood side, and it's air up there, let it go. And it's air Edgewood. You almost need a passport to watch their game because they're going to continually throw the ball and be successful on that side. I think one of the biggest things that they've improved on this year is their defense. And it's guys like Seth Enos. It's guys like Zeke Lucas on that side of the ball. You look at a guy like Hunter Brott, who has made a huge difference. Anthony Hunt, who has made a huge difference. Those guys, you can't necessarily pass on Edgewood because they're going to take it out of the air. You can't necessarily run because you got guys like, Nick Barger. You've got guys like Nick Wyman. You've got guys on the line who are going to try and keep you from getting anything. They're a stingy team, and they want to make sure they're the ones who are scoring all the points. But Lakeside is going to go out there, and I think they're going to try and out-muscle Edgewood. And that's what they tried to do last year, and they almost won that game. Like I said during the interview, tomorrow we're going to do something very special. I think it's going to be very cool. We are going to rewatch the Lakeside versus Edgewood Battle of the Bridge from 2022, which ended, like Super Bowl-esque, reaching for the end zone. It was an absolute heartbreaker, or the most exhilarating game you've seen, depending on which team you wanted to win. And it's something that I'm really looking forward to this year. The stars have aligned. Let me put it that way. You look at Lakeside and you look at Edgewood, their seasons, neither one of them have had the season that they want. I think Edgewood has had some more success, but they really expected to have more. You look at Edgewood, who goes into a 3-game skid in the middle of the season, and they're able to kind of get out of that skid by taking a rivalry game against Jefferson, returning the Hoadley Cup there, which Jefferson has had a firm grip on for the last 2 years. And you look at Lakeside, who has kind of found a newfound gamesmanship, a newfound confidence midway through the season, as they started off very tough. But then again, you got teams like, Ursuline and that sort of thing on your schedule. That's what you're looking at. It's going to be a fun week. I cannot wait for this one. We're going to have all kinds of extra stuff. We'll have some pregame shows and that sort of thing. I want to hear from you. You guys can start tonight. What do you think happens this year for the Battle of the Bridge? Now, I will tell you, the playoff implications are there for both teams. Lakeside's looking to make it a 500 season, and Edgewood is looking to keep it over 500, 2 back-to-back 6-win seasons. So there's a lot on the line there. This would be the first losing season I think Lakeside would have had in a couple years. So, there's a lot going on this game. It's really going to be a fun one. Before we get into the leaders, though, let's go to a couple breaks. Let's take about a minute and a half. And talk to some of our sponsors. It's a great time to remind you guys, the 440 Sports Show doesn't have sponsorship yet. We don't have any advertisers from Ashtabula County. It's an absolute heartbreaker. I'd love to get Ashtabula representation right here on YSN. YSN going into this week, 11 million views on the website. It's a great way to get your product out there. It's a great way to get your business out there. And to me, what is most important, it's a great way to help kids from your area, because that's where all the money for the advertising is going. It's doing shows like this. It's putting together all-star games. It's keeping production value up. It's trying to keep these coverages going so we can highlight these students and show them the superstars that they truly are. So if you're interested in advertising on this show or any of the shows on YSN, you can reach out to me on Facebook, on Instagram. You can get me on my email, 440andgoal@gmail.com. You can go over to ysnlive.com under advertise. You'll get direct rates right there. I'd love to get you on here. It'd be a great. One of my favorite things would be to start highlighting Ashtabula businesses, as YSN has become the home for Ashtabula County sports. So before we get too long, let's talk to our friends over at Toyota of Warren, and we will be right back.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
The feeling when my hands are on the piano, it's become comforting. It's somewhere that I can express myself. I go to Youngstown State University and my passion is playing music. YSU is allowing me to take what I love and turn it into a career and do it every single day of my life. I'm Alyssa, and I'm YN proud.
My guy keeps it 100% of the time. He wants all 100, won't settle for 99. And it's more than stats, because there's people in those numbers. And I was one of the lost sheep. I'm so glad he cares for all 100. I'm 100% safe, 100% free, 100% love. I can be 100% me. He gave all 100 when they put him up on that tree. That's 100% passion for 100% free. So if I play in front of 100, or if I play in front of 2, there's an audience of 1 getting 100% of what I can do.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We're going to get into, I think, what has become the most lauded part of the show. Now, we're going to get into the football leaders. Actually, before we get into the football leaders, let's get into what I believe is going to be the last volleyball leaders of the year. Want to send a huge congratulations out to all of the local teams playing in their sectional games. I know a big win for Lakeside here just, I believe, last night, getting revenge on Madison. So let's get into some of these volleyball stats. Will be right here. All right, and we're talking about those Lakeside Dragons. That's what I was just talking about. So Lakeside both takes a loss to Madison and defeats Madison. Now, the win that they get over Madison is the one that counts, as that one was in the OHSAA tournament game. So congratulations to the Lady Dragons. Now, their stat leaders, their regular season stat leaders, I think these are going to be the final numbers for the year because they did not change from last week, and that has been the case basically for the entire list tonight. So congratulations to these young ladies on a very, very successful year. Very fun to get to watch you guys go out there. And Coach Sanford, they had a really great year last year, and took more losses this year than they wanted to, but he was really able to get these young ladies to kind of dust themselves off and get it together when it counts. By going out there and getting a sectional win. So congratulations to the Lady Dragons. Your kill leader is Andy Mokovsky, who has 120. Your ace leader is Tess Collins with 39. Jasmine Colazo with 31 blocks is their leader, and Tess Collins, their dig leader, with 304, and Andy Mokovsky, their assist leader, with 214. Moving right along, we're going to go to the Edgewood Warriors, who go 1-0 last week in regular season play, defeating St. John. Their kill leader is Faith Venzel. Their ace leader is Faith Venzel. And their block leader is Faith Venzel. 267 kills, 38 aces, and 89 blocks. I guess in Edgewood, you got to have a little faith, and that's exactly what they're doing. It's going to be a Venzel with a different first name as the dig leader, McKenna leading the pack in this one, 478 for her, and their assist leader is Gianna Iannetta with 627. St. John Heralds, who are going to finish the year 20-3. They go 2-1 last week, defeating Lordstown and beating East Canton in their first OHSAA tournament game, and taking a loss to Edgewood in the regular season. Their kill leader is going to be Gabby Johnson with 256. She's also their ace leader with 58. Their block leader, Izzy Holler, with 27. Alexa Jordan is the dig leader with 421, and Lizzie Ducro is the assist leader with 552 assists. Good job to those young ladies, and best of luck as you continue into this tournament. Jefferson Falcons ending the year 19-3 so far. They go 1-1, defeating Conneaut and taking a loss to Kirtland. Chloe O'Rourke is their kill leader with 408. Sarah Stone is their ace leader with 62. Cassidy Blood, their block leader with 33. Marilia Matuz with 308 is their dig leader. Helena Edgar with 691 assists, and she's also the all-time Jefferson leader with whatever she ends up with tonight. I know she broke the record of 1,776. What a year for these young ladies. The 2023 Lake Division champs, the first one ever, the first year in that division. So congratulations to those Lady Falcons. Conneaut Spartans are going to go 6-17. They go 1-1 last week, defeating Harvey and taking a loss to Madison. Their kill leader is Maddie Zappatelli with 137. She's also their ace leader with 31. Bella Fix is their block leader with 33. Kayla Farley with 252, their dig leader. Lexi Brown, their assist leader with 246. All right, here we go. My friend Kyle McGurr letting me know, keeping me updated. Helena Edgar reached 2,000 career assists, which is incredible for her. And also, Chloe O'Rourke getting to 1,000 kills for the Jefferson Falcons. So big time numbers over there. Thanks again, Kyle, for giving me that information. And congratulations to those young ladies. I know that those stats are a product of how much you guys work in the off season. And that's really what the story is in all things success. When you talk about whether it's football, volleyball, basketball, anything you're going to go out there and compete in, it's about what you're doing in the off season. That's what's going to give you these type of stats. Your assist leader, Lexi Brown. Let's move right along. Grand Valley is going to go 7-14 on the year. They go 0-1 last week, taking a loss to Kirtland. Your kill leader for the regular season, Riley Rogers, 126. Michaela Hopes is your ace leader with 45. Dixie Miller, your block leader with 19. Michaela Hopes, your dig leader with 205. And Caitlin Bauman, your assist leader with 327. And the Pymatuning Valley Lakers, 0-2 on the week last week, taking losses to both Brookfield and Lakeview. I do not see any other games on their schedule, so I'm not sure if they are done or not. If not, congratulations, girls, on getting through your season. I know it probably didn't go the way you wanted it to, but you guys went out there and worked hard. 6-17 is the final out there, and hopefully we get ready for some winter sports. That was your volleyball stat leaders for this week, and I'm going to call this week 9 because that's where we are in football. But once again, the ladies of the county have already started tournament play, and we've got some who are continuing and some who are going home. It's the nature of the game. It's the nature of the beast. So nothing to hang your head out if you're going your head down on if you're going home. You can always live to play another day, and for the seniors, think back on a great career. All right, let's get into the football stats. And guys, I just want to let you guys know ahead of time, the numbers this week, I talked about last week how they were bonkers. This week they are somehow even crazier. When you look at the actual numbers and the amount of offense that we have had this year, it is absolutely wild. And let's talk about that right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the stat leaders on the football side. Just like always, we're going to start on the offensive side, and we're going to start with the passing. Tony Hall comes into Week 10 with 2,202 yards, 28 touchdowns, which is a county record in one season. Now, he does have 11 interceptions. I'm sure he wants those back, but 28 touchdowns is absolutely incredible. And I want to let you guys know, he is, when I said a stone's throw, when I said a stone's throw away from the record, I mean, he is close. I'm going to pull that up right now. Sorry. There we go. All right, so the county record, okay, all-time record. So he is already in second place, but the county record is held by 2020's Zach Winchell from Edgewood. and that is for 2,365 yards. So he's sitting, about 163 yards away from that record. That's where he's at, and going up against. I'm sure he would love to get that right against his biggest rival heading into playoffs. So this one is going to be a fun one to watch. It just adds a little paprika into the soup that is going to be this year's battle for the bridge. I'm so excited about this one. Vin Narducci coming in second with this one. He's had himself a heck of a year as well. 1,739 yards for him, 14 touchdowns for him, and the school record for him. Now, he would have to have himself a pretty decent game, at least over 200 yards, as he is exactly 200 yards away from the St. John school record, which stands at 1,939 in one season. So Vin Narducci knocking on the door for St. John as well, 200 yards away from that school record. Alex DeSalvatore coming in third with 724 yards, 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions for him. Sammy Goforth goes 636 yards, 4 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Ryan Croston comes into this one, 27 for 63, 433 yards. He's got 4 touchdowns to 1 interception. Max Gleason, they don't like to throw the ball out there in Conneaut. It ain't no secret. He's only got 421 yards with 2 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. And Cage Bozar, who was starting the year off as the Falcons quarterback, 178 yards, 1 touchdown. You're going to find him on the next list as he has switched over position-wise for the Falcons. And here's the one this is the stat to me that stood out the most. We have 4 1,000-yard rushers on this list going into Week 10, and only 2 teams. Conneaut has 2, PV has 2. Wyatt Payne and Max Gleason, who have been going back and forth on the top rusher in the county all year long. This week is Wyatt Payne's week. 1,196 yards. He's really, really close to getting that 1,200-yard barrier or mark, and I'm sure he's going to get that this week. He's got 9 touchdowns. Gleason, 1,184 yards for him, but he has 12 touchdowns. Ryan Croston comes into this one, the quarterback for the PV Lakers, 1,115 yards for him, 15 touchdowns. And Ty Vickery, 1,095 yards, but he's got 19 touchdowns. He is a scoring machine out there for the Lakers, and that's for real. Cage Bozar from Jefferson, helping as much as he can with that offense and doing a little bit of everything. 110 carries for him. He's got 807 yards, 6 touchdowns. Devin Miller over there at Lakeside, 106 carries, 766 yards. He's got 6 touchdowns, and he is splitting that backfield with Nate Bartone, who's got 110 carries, 597 yards, 8 touchdowns for the big bruiser in green and gold. Nate Bartone and Devin Miller will play a huge, huge part in this game on Friday. I'm telling you, if you can't be there, make sure you log into ysnlive.com. You are not going to want to miss it. Your wide receivers, and Will Anderson stands 3 yards away from a 1,000-yard season. And we talked about, I'm going to pull those up right now as well. I just started because we're going to update all the records at the end of the year. Let's get these loaded up. So the county record, I'm not sure that one is going to be attainable for Will unless he has an absolute year, because that one stands at 1,532 yards. You have to have like 600 yards receiving, but he can get in second in line because he's already in third place. As the second place there was Brian Jennings in 1979 with 1,100 yards. That very much in the wheelhouse of Will Anderson, but still an absolutely phenomenal year for the young Herald. Right behind him is our Week 9 Player of the Week. That's Jacob Ernst with 43 receptions, 712 yards, 10 touchdowns for that man. Anthony Hunt, another Edgewood Warrior, 29 receptions, 456. He's got 4 tuds. You got Cage Bozar from Jefferson, 27 receptions for him. He's got 413 yards, 4 touchdowns for him. Anthony Severino, another Herald on the list here, 18 receptions. He's got 392 yards. He's got 4 touchdowns. Zachary Carlton Hull has 21 receptions, 357 yards. He's got 6 touchdowns. Robert Rogers, the grasshopper over there at Grand Valley, he's got 20 receptions, 352 yards. He's got 2 touchdowns. And Ryan Williams with 31 receptions and 328 yards. Ryan Williams playing the fullback position for the St. John Heralds. So getting him involved in the pass game, very, very much so. But again, Will Anderson is pretty far ahead of everybody, about 200 yards ahead, almost 3, and looking to have a monster of a year. It'll be interesting. We will have that game as well on Saturday as they take on Lincoln West for senior night. Time to talk tackles. Every week we go through this. Every week we have to update it. This week is going to be Seth Enos at the top. Now remember, folks, the total tackle number here. The total tackle number is 1 point for solo, half a point for an assist. An assist is any tackle that is other than a solo. You get 1 point for a TFL. You get 1 point for a sack. All those together give you your total tackle number, and Seth Enos is the number 1 stunner on this week's list. 109.5 tackles for the young man. He is out there leading the Edgewood defense. Right behind him, the bruiser, Nate Bartone, 88 tackles for him. Just behind him is Zeke Lucas, the other half of that Edgewood linebacking core, 86 for him. Ty Koval, Conneaut's number 1 tackler all time. He already has the record. Everything he does this year just adds more flavor to it. 86 for him, 72.5 tackles for him. Will Anderson, 67. He is tied with his fellow Herald, Ryan Williams, who also has 67 tackles. You got Randy Valeriano over at Lakeside with 66.5. Tyree Anderson with 66. And Abby Ortiz with 60. A lot of Lakeside Dragons on this list. That is for sure. They are getting tackles. You look at TFLs, and this right here, folks, is where Enos gets to separate himself from the pack. 17 tackles for loss for Seth Enos. Right behind him, Abby Ortiz from Lakeside with 12. Ryan Croston from PV on there with 10. You got Zeke Lucas, Mason Thor, and Devin Kessler. All 3 Edgewood guys, all 3 of them tied with 9 TFLs apiece. Ty Koval next on the list with 8, and Nate Bartone and Nick Wyman are tied with 7. All right, your sack leader, and Jaron Nowakowski adds another one to the list this week as he comes up with 7 sacks on the year. Behind him, another PV Laker is John Finello with 5. He is tied with Hank Wagner over at St. John with 5. Damian Brainerd with 3.5. You got Nick Wyman over at Edgewood with 3, and Ethan Osborne over at Conneaut with 3 of his own. And you talk about who is guarding the skies, and there are nobody better than these guys right here. Hunter Brott still on top. 4 interceptions for Hunter. He's going to be right behind him is going to be PV's Alex Simon, St. John's Anthony Severino, and Edgewood's Anthony Hunt, all tied with 3 interceptions. And I think what is even more impressive to me than those numbers is this number here. 10 county players have 2 interceptions on the year. Defense has played well this year. And it's a year where the offenses have absolutely gone bonkers, berserk. I don't think I can remember a time where all the county teams were scoring like this. We've had times where teams were putting up big numbers and everybody else was trying to play catch up. This year has been a great year for Ashtabula County football. All right, let's go into some of those results from last week. Lakeside gets the win in this one, 30-6, and this is a big win to me, if you ask me at least, for Lakeside, because Lakeside going into this game, I think most people thought that Conneaut was going to be able to go in there and run all over them. I mean, why wouldn't you? Conneaut goes into this game with Wyatt Payne and Max Gleason, both already over 1,000 yards in 8 weeks of football. Lakeside is a big, strong team, but the question was, were they going to be able to keep up with that run game? And the answer was absolutely yes. Lakeside goes out there 30-6, gets a big win at home on that one, and puts themselves just like that right back into the playoffs. Because the truth of the matter is, hold on, let's get this on here. The truth of the matter is, if Lakeside loses that game, their playoff hopes are dead. That was it. They had to win that Cognac game to even have a shot at it. They're going to have to win this game this week to even have a for sure shot at the playoffs. And we're going to talk about it here because nothing is set in stone there. Edgewood, as we talked about before, goes out to Jefferson. They take the Hoadley Cup back with an exclamation point. Edgewood has been on the wrong side of these scores for the last 2 years. So they were going out there and really trying to make sure they left no doubt. And they do exactly that, 54-7 over Jefferson. Jefferson, flat out, they're rebuilding. There's no other way. They know it. We know it. They're trying to get better, and they will get better. I can tell you the moment you start overlooking Jefferson is the moment you're going to get bit. They graduated a lot of guys last year. You talk about Hitchcock, you talk about Hodge, you talk about Pulowski, you talk about Woodworth. That is most of their offense and most of their defense right there. And all these guys are out, doing great things as college players and college students. So, it's a smaller school. They went to that regional championship, the region championship. They won that with 27 guys. So, you graduate 13 seniors or however many they graduated. And, sometimes you got to rebuild. So keep your heads up out there, Falcons. It's been a tough year, but, keep working. And I know if they've got Coach Hanna out there. He's one of the best coaches I've ever been around. And not many people understand the game as well as he does. So those guys will be ready before you know it. Jefferson will be back on the horse. Grand Valley and Berkshire. Grand Valley has been in a slide as well. Really trying to kind of get used to that new offense, trying to switch things up. It doesn't work on this one. Berkshire, a very, very good team, 40-0 over Grand Valley. And Pymatuning Valley goes out there. And what Pymatuning Valley does well is what St. John struggles with, and that is the run. St. John has had trouble with the run. They know that they have trouble with the run. And PV, they wake up and run. They got two guys in Ty Vickery and Ryan Croston who can run the ball all over the place, and that is precisely what they did. Both of those guys were chasing 1,000 yards going into that game, and that's exactly what they got. And the Lakers are getting, I believe they are set, and we're going to find out here in just a minute because we're going to bring up the playoff scenarios. I think they may be home for their first playoff game already. And they are heading down to Wyndham, and I'm picking them to win that game. Huge. Speaking of picking those games, let's talk about the games that are coming up this week. All right, this week we got Edgewood and Jefferson, or Edgewood and Lakeside, the battle for the bridge. Me and Larry will be there on the call. We'll have some other guys out there. We're going to do some fun stuff. We're still developing it. Like I said, make sure you guys tune in for the live stream tomorrow as we are going to live stream last year's game, which was one of, we don't have YSN Classics yet, but that one would be a YSN Classic. That much I can promise you. Back and forth, all the drama you can handle. We're going to relive it tomorrow. Jefferson going to be playing at Geneva. This is the tallest task of anybody in the county this week. Geneva is a gargantuan. They are a Goliath. They are 8-1. They are already set to be home for the playoffs twice. They have enough points to be home for their first two playoff games. Jefferson, not much has gone right for them. Geneva, everything has gone right for them. If Jefferson's going to pull out an upset here, it would be legendary. But Geneva's playing very good football, and Geneva, honest to God, has one of the best backfields in the state. And that is not overreaching. They have, when you talk about, Smith, Pete, Deemer, Barbo, Young, they've got 5 guys. All of them can run the ball. All of them know exactly what they're doing every single time. It's like a well-oiled machine. So I'm not sure who is going to be able to get to these guys. I can tell you they're in a very difficult region. Ursuline is a madman. Ursuline is a madman in that region. And then there's still this team that people keep forgetting about called Chardon as well. Grand Valley is 2-8, and they're going to be going against Crestwood, who's 4-5. That'll be a home game for Grand Valley. Tyler Hartz will be on the call there with a Grand Valley student. PV is going to be heading down to Wyndham. Again, PV wins this game. I don't know if it matters or not. I'm pretty sure they're home already. But they'll go down, and PV's looking to stay undefeated in NAC play. 5 years in a row, PV has won the NAC. They run that conference. When it comes to football, the A in NAC stands for Andover. The PV Lakers own it, and they are not trying to get rid of it anytime soon. Another NAC team who hopes to be competing for that title here soon is going to be the St. John Heralds. And they're going to be playing on Saturday. Myself and Ray Torado, we will be on the call for that one against Lincoln West, who is a Division III team. 0-6. So this one is a pretty big one, unfortunately. And again, we're going to see here in just a moment. I do believe St. John is mathematically eliminated from the playoffs already. But, go out there, get the records, finish strong to those young Heralds. All right, let's talk a little about the playoffs that are coming up. We're going to go over to so for those of you who don't know, we usually go to Joe Itel. And he does a great job. This is another website within Joe Itel called Drew Pasteur, and he does a phenomenal job of pretty much telling you who's in, where they're going to be, who they're going to be playing. He uses all the points and everything from Joe Itel, and will let you know if this team wins, if this team loses, this is where they're going to be. And I think it's worth talking about tonight as we go over to Division II. We're going to start right here in Division II with Lakeside. So Lakeside coming into this one, their playoff chances right now. Their playoff chances right now are 98% in if they lose this game. If they lose against Edgewood, they're 98% in. If they beat Edgewood, they guarantee their spot in the playoffs. And this is where I was telling you, 98% is huge. That is. It takes a lot. That you could almost be comfortable with that. But anything other than 100%, I don't think you would be comfortable with. And honestly, I don't think Coach Edwards wants anything other than 100%. Coach Edwards would love to end this year with a win over the hated Edgewood Warriors. I know that they've got a huge thing planned for the team as they cross the bridge. They're going to have a bunch of their booster and all their fans with noises and stuff like that. It's a really cool tradition that they've started as Lakeside crosses the bridge into enemy territory. I want to send a huge shout out to them for that because I just think that's a very, very cool thing to do. And really kind of, anybody who has watched me over the last couple of years, that I'm big on hype and I love to hype up the game, and that's precisely what's going on there. So again, that's what we're talking about here. So you talk about playoff scenarios, okay? With a win, they are looking to rematch Riverside again. If they beat Edgewood, their door prize is they get to go play Riverside at Riverside again. If they lose to Edgewood, still a shot that they're going to get in, and a pretty good shot, then they got to go against Hoban. And that is not something that's all, nobody wants to play Hoban. They are unbelievably good. So let's head out of here. That's going to be Lakeside's path to the playoffs, if you will. Going over here I don't think we have any Division III teams. So Division IV, we're going to talk about Edgewood. So Edgewood's sitting right now at 5-4. So you talk about Edgewood, where they need to be. Their playoff chances, they're in. So at this point, they are playing to make sure that they can have a better seeding, if you will. So they want to see who they're going to be playing. So it comes down to, with a loss, they are going to play West Branch. And with a win, they are going to play Streetsboro. And I'll tell you what, Streetsboro versus West Branch, I almost, if I'm Edgewood, I don't know if I think I might want to play West Branch. Don't go out and lose that game at all. But Streetsboro has been absolutely killing people. So Edgewood has got their hands full with that with Streetsboro this year. But West Branch, they got this kid named Bo Alazaris who can really throw the pill all over the field. So it's not going to be an easy look any way you look at it over there in Division 4. Also in Division 4 is Jefferson, but Jefferson is going to be mathematically eliminated already. So let's head over to Division 5. Let's see what those Spartans are looking at. Unless I am overlooking. There they are. So they're currently sitting at 15, okay? So with a win over an incredibly talented Madison, they should be able to jump. Yeah, that's what I thought. So a win over Madison gives them 13.5 points on the year. So that win would put them at home versus Sandy Valley. Even if they lose to Madison, they are still pretty much in, or no, they're 100% in. They still have a 1% shot at being at home because they can get all the way to 8 depending on how the games go. But it's looking like Clearview is who they're going to be playing. So you talk about their most likely first-round opponents at Sandy Valley, Berkshire, Edison, and Lakeview, the NE8's Lakeview. So that is Conneaut's road to the playoffs. Now let's head over to Division 6 and let's talk about PV. Now PV is standing at 7, and that's what I thought. I think they're already in and already at home. So already in and already at home. So and they are pretty much they're picked to win by 38 over Windham. So they win that game. They're going to be playing Mineral Ridge. If they lose that game, they're going to be playing Mineral Ridge. So it doesn't really matter. It's not going to change the points. An interesting thing here is they've already played Mineral Ridge once this year, and it was a huge, a big game right there for them. 22-29, the last play of the game is what decided that one. So we're looking at a Week 1 rematch in Week 11, and it's going to be right here on YSN. Make sure you don't miss that. Mike O says Edgewood, no matter what, looking at some big-time schools, I believe Edgewood Athletics can do it. I absolutely do, too. I believe in my Ashtabula County teams in general. I think we're going to go out there and we're going to make a whole lot of noise this year. We got a lot of guys getting in there. And then, unfortunately, like I said, we'll look in D7. D7 and St. John is mathematically eliminated. Let's get them. Yeah, so even with a win, that would only put them at 2.31 points, which is interesting to me because they should, in theory, get a bonus for playing a Division 3 team as they are Division 7, but apparently not a bonus enough. So that is your playoff outlook right now here in the county. We got a lot of teams that are on the verge of making a big year this year, and I can't wait. But this week's game, I'll be at with Larry. All the games are going to be fun to watch. I can tell you right now, I'm so excited about the Battle of the Bridge. Both sides are chomping at the bit when it comes to getting a hold of each other. You got Lakeside, who would love nothing more than to put a sour ending on Edgewood's parade. Edgewood looking to go 6-4 again, and they're looking to make an example over there. Lakeside says they're not going to be an example. We're going to find out who's right this year. Like I said, make sure tomorrow you guys tune in. We're going to do a live broadcast of the game from last year with commentary. I'd love to see, what you guys are thinking. Maybe get a little chippy. Let's get a little talky. Let's talk this up and let's have a real fun time. Really looking forward to this one. I think Siri is actually listening to me. Really looking forward to this game this week, and congratulations to all the teams who are getting prepared for another playoff journey. And this is one of the things. This is one of the things that people kind of complained about with the expansion of the playoffs. Well, everybody gets in, and da 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 da. Yeah, not everybody gets in. You got to go out there. You got to have a winning record. But more football is better. Let these kids play because, to be honest with you, the 4-team system that they had back in the 80s was terrible. The 8-team system didn't include enough. This, 16 might be a lot. It might be. But I'll tell you what 16 does is it opens the door so teams start scheduling tough non-conference. It allows these teams to go out there and take a chance. And you never know what's going to happen on a Friday night, any given night. An upset can occur, and we've seen stuff now. I don't think we saw any 16-1s. I do know that. But It's better. It's a lot better. I know the magic number to me is probably 12. That's probably where it should be. I don't mind 16. I like it. I think it's great. I think we're setting these kids up for an experience like they'll never have before. Like I said, a lot of gatekeepers, a lot of people saying it doesn't count. It counts. OHSA put you in there. It counts. So really looking forward to it. It's been a long season. And I want to thank everybody who's stuck through, who's watched these shows, who have shared the graphics, all of these things. I appreciate you guys. Even the ones that get on my case every week. I appreciate you guys too. I know that I mess up sometimes on the stats and that sort of thing, but just understand this, no matter what, I always do my very best to try and highlight and get additional exposure for the kids of this county. That's always been my goal, and that's one of the goals that I will continue to go down. So thanks for everybody who's doing that. Again, I will remind you again, I'm not going to make this a huge political thing, but I am running for the Ashtabula Area City School Board of Education. So if you would consider voting for me and you're an Ashtabula Area City School resident, I would very much appreciate your vote. November 7th is a time where we can make a huge change right here in the county, and that change comes by way of voting. So unfortunately, the registration time has passed, but for those of you who are registered, it's time to get out and vote. So, and I hope when you go out there on the 7th, you'll remember me and consider voting for me as your advocate and your representative for the Ashtabula Area City School Board. Not going to go too much further into that, but I do want to thank you all for joining me tonight. My name is Sam Torres, and this is for the 440.
This for the 440. This for the 440. For the city and the back roads, got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the 440 and let's go. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Primetime and Valley. We from the 440 chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewell got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating no dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really bout it. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them. Yeah, and Connie I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the 440. This for the 440. This for the 440.